say this about Roger. I was looking at Roger's plate and I thought he was on a diet because he didn't fill it over like that, so he just went that way. But he said he was just being courteous for everybody else to eat. And, but if you have it, no, wait until next week. Don't you cut off on me just watch his plate. So we're going to have to build him a special plate there. We've got running boards or not running boards. Yeah. But he can pull it away. Hey, we're going to enter him in the 4th of July contest. That's what we'll do with him. All right, well, let's go and get started. And let's turn to page 350 this evening. Want to mention Reagan's birthday party will be this Saturday, June 8th, at Highlands Pool. That's the pool, the swimming pool, not the pool hall. You know, I had no idea. Hey, preachers reaching for you. But that's at the Highlands Pool at 6 p.m. Dinner will be provided, and everyone is invited. Again, that's Reagan's birthday. week more.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, there she is. Moved on. She'll be 4 years old, and she's ready to, or going on 15 already, I guess. That's a blessing to see. But please remember that. And if you have not signed up for men for Father's Day, we'll be going down to the Dillard house. And us fathers will be heading down there. You don't have to be a father, but if you want to go, just come on and sign up. And we'll leave here at 11 o'clock Saturday morning and be down there about 12. We'll have us a good old time there. Let's go and bow our head and remember that this is offering towards missions. And we need to also remember our missionaries that are out on the fields. And this is where this money street goes to. That's for things. Chapter 4 tonight, Galatians chapter 4. Let me rephrase it. Galatians chapter 5. Galatians 5. Verse 1. It says, stand fast therefore in the liberty. Behold, I call Satan unto you, that if I shall profit you nothing, unto you, whosoever of you are justified by the law, by faith. For in Jesus Christ neither circumcision availeth any it run well, who did hinder you that you should not obey the truth? This persuasion cometh not of him that calleth you, a little leaven, and will be none otherwise minded. But he that troubleth you shall bear his judgment, whosoever he be. We'll stop there. I know, just going through this, I kind of skipped ahead on this part. I got a message for Sunday, Lord willing, that works out and everything. But I went on and jumped ahead in chapters 5. And like I said, now verses 4 has gave folks over the years that I have talked to at times where they've talked to me that you have heard this, and all of us have probably thought it. Can you lose your salvation? Verses 4 said that at the end, ye are fallen from grace. And then some folks would say, well, you can. There it is in black and white. And but again, like I said, and I've been saying this for a few weeks leading up to this, I know Paul really, it's almost repetitious when he goes over these things about the law. But you got to understand, I mean, these are the foundation of the doctrine and stuff. And Paul is after these that he's already won to the Lord, and he's fighting for them to be able to stay. And I mean, I can understand at times, well, you know, when I went through this in Galatians, that Paul he's upset with those that are outside, and he's not fully upset, but he's not hurt, but it bothers him that those are leaning other ways instead of staying right there. And Paul, that's the reason it's almost repetitious in chapters 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now 5, it kind of starts changing a little bit onto something else, but you do still see him making not an argument, but what's the word I want to say? He's trying to keep them in the good grace of God, in the good graces of God, in a sense. And it's almost the way I look at it is he being like a father. What one of us, you know, I guess there was a time in my life that when I was raising Tristan, she got to the age, I don't know, she was like 17, something like that. And I guess she was a woman, but I'm glad she wasn't a he, because we'd been right there slugging it out in the living room probably. But it was just one of those standoffs, in other words. And I got to the place that where at one time I was just in the part of, I'm tired of this, tired of fussing. You know, me and her were like two bulls in a china shop. We were so much alike. And that's where it is. And it wasn't nothing bad, but it was just teenage and all that. And, but I'll tell you, God taught me something that day. I looked at her, and I really, in my heart, I was really ready to just go, do what you want to do. And something just struck me, and I thought, if I give up on her, who else will be there for her? And I kind of just thinking along that lines, and I never forgot that day, and I never gave up on her. I ain't saying I never wanted to, in other words. And she wasn't a bad girl by any means. It's just the normal thing that, like, what is it, when they go from, around 14, they disappear who they are, and then they reappear about 19 or 20, something like that. And it was just during that time as she was growing up. But all that comes back when she comes back and says, Mama, boy, you and Daddy were so right. And I just sit there and go, what? I can't hear you. In other words, and I love that moment. Oh, I love that moment. But I say that to say this. In that same way as you would look as your child, you're almost to that point. And I see Paul, he's doing everything to keep them in the house of God. And but he says, at first part, he says, stand fast, therefore, in the liberty wherewith Christ hath made us free. Now, stand fast. Stand fast, it means to take effort, to stay in the place of liberty, is what it means. And it's like this. It's someone who is legally made free, and Jesus can still live in bondage. In other words, there is folks in churches today that they're saved, they're going to heaven, but they're in bondage. And listen, sin is a type of bondage in that. Even though we're looking at these, and they keep up, it's almost like they're wanting to go and partake in they're wanting to stay religious. It's just Paul's trying to keep them over here where they're free, and they are, in other words, they keep entangling themselves with works and things of that nature. And Paul has told them time and time again, it's not what you can do, it's what's already been done. But in another sense, you can apply it to this. Sin is the same way. Sin, once it gets its tentacles on you,
Those are some of the stickiest things to get rid of. It gets your, I think what Paul mentions it somewhere else, I think it's in Corinthians, and he's talking about, in other words, like getting an advantage on you or getting a spot or a stronghold. That's the word. Don't let the devil basically get a stronghold on you. It's like this. Don't give him a step where he can hang on to you and keep you in a bondage. Sin will keep you in bondage. I know we will have this. I will have it. You will have it. We have that fight daily. You get rid of one sin and you think, hallelujah, finally, that doesn't bother me. Well, just hang on. There's going to be another one come along, and God will open your eyes to it, and you're going to go, oh, man, it's a continuous thing. You will have a continuous fight until the day we go home to be with the Lord. Now, I will state this. I did hear an 80, maybe 90-year-old man state this. He said, if you think that this old flesh goes away with the older that you get, he said, you got another thing coming. He said, it will stay with you to the day you die. And that was a 90-year-old preacher saying that. But in that, people can literally still be bound, be in bondage in the house of God. I was reading something today, and a story what D.L. Moody told. He said he told the story of a slave back in the 1800s, right after the Civil War. This slave woman, following the Civil War, was confused about her status and asked, now is I free or be I not? When I go to my master, he says I ain't free. And when I go to my own people, they say I am free. I don't know whether I'm free or not. Some people told me that Abraham Lincoln has already signed the Declaration of Proclamation, but my master says he didn't, and he didn't have the right to anyhow, in other words. What she's saying is, here my master's telling me I'm still his, but yet there's law that Abraham Lincoln put into thing that there should not be no more slavery, in other words. Well, her master keeps telling her lies and saying he don't know what he's talking about. He don't have the right to do that. But back then, we know history and stuff like that. Same way it is about Christians. We are, after we're saved, we are free from bondage. That's what the Lord does. He saves us. He forgives us. It doesn't matter what we've done before we got saved. It's like we say, it's all under the blood. It's all wiped away. But the devil will come back, and it's like God is like being like Abraham Lincoln saying, I've wrote it out there. You're free. But the devil and your flesh and the world will tell you, no, you're not. You're still in bondage. And they'll lie to you and whisper things to you. You say, that's crazy. Well, why is it that we have problems with things, so to speak, what we've done years gone by? And we haven't. We're still in bondage. But you said, preacher, free Christ in our own life. We still entangle ourselves. We still listen to the flesh. We still listen to the devil. And they keep telling us that we're not free. We're still in bondage and everything. But what it is that we need to listen more to the Lord and be out from under that yoke of bondage. I guess you could put it in that way. Now, he says, stand fast, therefore, in the liberty wherewith Christ has made us free, and be not entangled again with the yoke of bondage. I found this in Acts 15:10, talking about the yoke of bondage. Now, therefore, why tempt you God to put a yoke upon the neck of the disciples, which neither our fathers nor we were able to bear? In other words, what they're saying is, the law, you cannot keep it. You and I cannot keep it straight. Even after we're saved, we still break the law. We still sin on that part. But in this, now I was doing some study and looking at this. Here's these folks trying to keep the law. Here are these folks still trying to earn their salvation and things of that nature. Now I found something. A lot of folks will bring up and say, well,
I'm still keeping the 10 Commandments, or I'm still, I'm earning my way, I'm living by it, and this, that, and the other. And a lot of folks only think there's only 10. Do you realize there's 613 commandments that you have to live by? Now, I'm going to be honest with you. 613, I'm doing good to remember all 10. Let me ask you this. They did this to us in Bible college in our first year. One of the guys that was teaching us in Bible 1, he said, all right, he said, put your book away, put your Bible away, and he said, pull out a piece of paper. And in your mind, think this. Can you name all 12 disciples right now? Here we were, preachers. Ain't nobody making no 100 in there. He said, okay, tell me the 10 plagues. I might have got 8. He said, now write 10 commandments. I don't think nobody got even close. But we'll act like we know all this and that. Now, I'm just going to say this, 10 commandments. Can you imagine trying to keep up with 613 different commandments to be able to keep to yourself, to keep right, so that you can earn your way into heaven if it was possible? Let alone, let me say this, here's where my downfall would be probably. Say I was to keep them. I'd probably forget about 1 or 2 or 3. Can you imagine trying to memorize 613 different commandments? Do you see what, I mean, it's impossible. We do good to even try to keep 10, and then here they were trying to keep 613 of them. But Paul is trying to tell them that this yoke of bondage, that's what it is. It's a yoke that keeps you weighed down and tears you down, in other words, and it doesn't make you feel free. Like I'll go back to this is, I've never seen a legalist happy. I've never seen somebody that is in the Independence or Southern Baptist or Church of God or whatever, and they're one of those that looks down their nose because they don't do this and they don't do that and they don't run with them that do that and this, that, the other. But I've never seen a happy one. I'm not talking about they got to be giddy all the time, but I'm talking about they are not free. If you ever watch them, you ever look at them, any of those, I know somebody's come to your mind over the years that you've known, that they'll make sure that you know that they're righteous and this and that and the other, and they'll let you know when you failed and all this and that. If you ever look at any of them, they're sourpuss. They're so yoked down. They're doing the exact same thing. I'm not talking about doctrine. I'm not talking about what thus saith the Lord. I'm talking about you can't wear, like we joke about it, but can't wear wire rimmed glasses. You can't wear colored shirts. I'd be in trouble tonight. But there's the craziness today. And what that is, it's the same thing that Paul was dealing with per se, kind of giving us a taste of what we look at. But he said, verses 2, behold, he says, I, Paul, say unto you, that if you be circumcised, Christ shall profit you nothing. Now, he's talking about in the first part of bondage. Now he's talking about there's no profit in verses 2. Now, when he talks about this of no profit, he's getting down into verses 3. He says, for I testify again to every man that is circumcised that he is a debtor to do the whole law. Not he talking about no profit, but he's talking also about you become a debtor to this. When we embrace the law, works of righteousness, way of righteousness, in other words, a person must, now get this, a person must let go of either the law and works or let go of Jesus Christ and liberty. And what I'm talking about is the righteousness of Christ. Him, when I say that, I'm saying that he does all the work. Over here, you've got the law, and that person, they've got to keep all 613 different commandments. They've got to keep that going and things of that nature. And it's talking about that righteousness. He's saying, in other words, here, that, behold, I, Paul, say unto you, that if you be circumcised, Christ shall not profit you nothing. He's saying, if you're over here and you're taking on the 613 commandments, you're doing all this, he's saying that Christ is nothing to you. He's over there. You chose this. You only can choose one. You cannot, what is it Christ says? You cannot serve Christ and mammon. In other words, richness and all that. Well, let me say this. You can't serve Christ plus works. You can't serve, it's not Christ plus whatever. It's Christ plus minus nothing. It's Christ, period. So over here, it's almost, if I could take this, they got me on film, so they'll be able to tell me. Let's just say, all right, here's a little bit of, let me take this. Here we go. Here is, I don't know, let's say there's $100 there or something. And then we've got $2, $3 over here. And this is what I'm saying. You have to make a choice what you want. If you want to be your righteousness to be able to get you to heaven, by your righteousness, which is going to cause you to have a yoke and of works, and you're going to be in debt, you've got to pay the debt yourself. You've got to carry the burden. You've got to do everything. You cannot mess up one time. Let me just put that like that. That's basically what it is. It's $1 here, and this is saying works. You either choose the dollar or you choose the whole pot over here that's just endless money-wise. And that's representing Jesus Christ. That's representing our righteousness. So Paul, when he's saying basically this part here, he's saying you either get that or you choose this. But you can't have both. You've got to make a choice which one you're going to go to. Now, when he's stating this, he's talking about that. Verse 2, behold, I, Paul, saying to you that if you be circumcised, what's circumcision a picture of? Of the law. If you are being circumcised, you are saying, I'm taking on the law. I'm doing the works of the law. I don't need nothing else. I do that in the works. But he's saying, if you be circumcised, Christ shall profit you nothing. He's saying, okay, you're choosing the dollar instead of this pot over here. So you've got to make your choice. So that's what Paul's saying. This won't profit you nothing. I come across something today, and this guy made a good point. This kind of helped us a little bit. All right, I've been pulled over. I know probably all of us have been pulled over by the cops sooner or later. But kind of give this an idea when you're standing in court. When pulled over for speeding, it will do you no good to protest that you are a good husband, a good taxpayer, and have obeyed the speed limit all before. What I'm saying is, all that stuff is irrelevant. All that stuff doesn't come to the point what that one thing you just did, in other words. In other words, what I'm saying is, you choose this side, and you get to the place where you fail one time, it does not matter, even at the law. What I'm trying to do is show this is the bad choice over here. You cannot keep it. It is a struggle. And if you get down to it, you say, well, I've done pretty good. I've kept 612 of these commandments, and I'm doing real good. I'm better than anybody else. But you're not no better than God. You're still short. For all of sin that comes short of the glory of God. Now like I kind of got ahead of myself, but when you use that example, in other words, you get pulled over for speeding, it does no good when you say, well, I'm a good person, I pay my taxes, I've always done my good speed limit. It don't make a hill of beans. He caught you, you're dead to rights. You are going to have to pay the piper because of that one law broken in speed. Same way towards living for the law. You know that James said this, that if you break one, you're guilty of them all. What he's saying is, you just break one thing, and it's just as much as you took them all and broke everything else. He said, all I'm saying is, one time you mess up, you done messed it. You done missed it. In other words, if you're hanging in the balance and that's the way you're going to say, I'm going to get to heaven, you miss it. You can't get to it, in other words. But listen, that's what he's saying in verses 3 4. I testify again to every man that is circumcised that he is a debtor to do the whole law. That's what you've got to do. You can't do pick or choose, kind of say, You've got to do all or none. Christ says you either take all. It is saying this. When we embrace the law, works, way of righteousness, a person must let go of Jesus Christ's righteousness. Whoever, in other words, wants to have a half Christ loses the whole Christ. If you get what I'm saying, you can't have a half of it. You either got him all or you don't. Paul's trying to show them which one here. Now, I may just read my notes, get caught back up here. Oh, I made myself a note looking at it. Like the three crosses. You ever notice this? There's Jesus in the middle. There's one thief on the left, one thief on the right. One thief says, will you remember me when you come into your kingdom? He's not able to do any righteousness or anything. And the Lord says, today thou shalt be with me in paradise. He did nothing and got to go to heaven. The other thieves basically railed on him and just said, if you be the Christ, come on, show us what it is. But he never committed himself to Christ. He dies in his sins. He dies in his own righteousness, and he's in hell today. So that's kind of the picture of what it is. It profited the guy that chose Christ and his righteousness, and the other guy profited it in himself, and he ends up being in hell. So that's kind of the same thing. Now, this is what I'm saying it builds up to. Now, he says in verse 4, Christ has become of no effect unto you. Unto whom? Unto those that have chose this side, have chose their righteousness, their works, their way, their pride, their everything. And they're saying that when he says Christ has become of no effect, you chose this side, Christ can't help you. Christ is no. You're doing it on your own. When we come to get saved, did we go, well, I think I can make it? No, that's what kept us in our seat. Our pride kept us in our seat that time. It's what made us, we'd say, well, I'll be all right, or I'll do a little bit better, or I'll do whatever. And the pride is a part of me. You're trusting in your own righteousness. But when you let go of you and you come down, you're saying, I jumped everything, God. I can't make it to you. Only you can make it to me. Would you please save me? Would you please give me freedom, liberty in you? And that's the only way you can get liberty is through Jesus Christ. And when we did that, I don't know what we prayed. Everybody prayed something different. But I guarantee you the main thing was we cried out, God, please help me. I'm dying in my sin, and you're the only one that can help me. And by that, when God saved us, we chose to junk our pride and junk our words, and we accepted the whole pot instead of a measly little old thing there that runs out. That's what, now listen to it. Christ has become of no effect unto you. Whosoever of you are justified by the law. You're over here on the law, you say, this is what I got. Christ says, can't help you when you over here. Nonetheless, he says, whosoever of you are justified by the law, you chose this. He says, ye are fallen from grace. It's not losing your salvation. He's trying to tell them, it's you're choosing works. I'm no effect to you. I can't help you. I can't do it because you chose that. It's just like when somebody stays in their seat and doesn't move to get saved, they're choosing themselves. They're choosing whatever to help them to be able to get them to heaven or whatever. They're taking a chance on that. But when Christ, they're saying, God, I don't. Basically what they say, his works you're denying when you choose that. But when you choose him, those works become nothing to you. You ever realize that when we got saved, it wasn't what we did. All we had to do was one thing. Accept. That's all we had to do. Christ is the one that died for us. Christ is the one that rose for us. Christ is the one that's sitting on the right hand of the Father making intercession for us. Christ is the one that, if I may say, when he sat down, the Holy Spirit of God was sent here, and the Spirit of God found us. We didn't find him. And we did not really realize we were lost until God opened our eyes. It wasn't us on our own thoughts and going, I'm lost. I better get saved.
We weren't looking for him in all actuality. God was looking for us. He was not lost. We were lost. And when God did come to us, and God sent the man of God to preach to you, or some neighbor to teach to you, or witness to you, you still didn't have to do nothing except it. That's all we had to do. God did everything. He did the whole shebang. And all we had to do was go maybe 60 feet at the farthest to come to him. That's the most thing we ever had to do when we got saved. So when he says you've fallen from grace, it's not saying, oh, I can lose my salvation. No. He's saying, since you chose your way, your righteousness, your everything, I can't help you. And he won't help us until we come to him. How can mom or dad help us unless we let them know? It's just like a child. They're crying and everything, and mom and daddy's like, well, tell me, where's it hurt? Where's it hurt? We don't know how to help until they go. That's what's so bad about babies. I mean, only mamas and doctors maybe will know. But us men, we're like, hey, the baby's hurting. That's all I know. You know, hey, it's spitting up. Something's wrong. But a mama will know about that child. Other than that, you can't fix it if you don't know where it's at, where you hurt. Same way in this way. You can't get fixed until you see that you need help. And then you cry unto him. And when you cry unto him, then he'll fix it. He is of use when you choose him. But if you don't, he's of no effect. He's of no effect. Because what's it boil down to? Your choice. You don't lose. Because you never can lose what you didn't have, per se. But what Paul is telling them, you want to go to heaven, it ain't on your righteousness, it's all on his righteousness. His way. That's what he's trying to say. So, when you read, the Bible says, oh, you can lose or you can't. I'm still finding places where God's word still shows that you're eternally his forevermore. Listen, just like Paul said earlier in the scriptures when we was going through this, it's not yours to lose. You don't, listen, I'll tell one on me. My wife, I told her, I said, quit reminding me of stuff. I know I'm 50 years old, leave me alone. Well, we got up there today. Guess who forgot the keys? And Brother Brooks, don't look at it. And Brother Roger, because they know I've already done it once. But I locked them up in the house. Me, I was held responsible for my keys. I was held responsible for my way to get in and everything. But I forgot. I left. Listen, if I was responsible for my salvation, I would have lost it a long time ago, literally, probably. If it was like this is my salvation, and I stuck it in my pocket, my wife would be we'd tear the house all apart trying to find my salvation. He said, it's not mine to lose. That's probably the reason God didn't give it to us. For us to be the keeper. Who is my keeper of my salvation? The Spirit of God. The Spirit of God is the one that seals me for the day of redemption. The Spirit of God is the one that provides me salvation, and he protects me, protects my salvation. Why? It's not mine. It's already him. One day, I'm going to get out of here, and I'm going to be like I always say, I ain't said it here, I don't think, but as I close on this, already I could. Roger's talking about it over at the dinner table. He said, yeah, if you go too long, I can see Earth over. Get your gun, get ready. I'm sorry, y'all. They get me started. But I just forgot where I was at now. So. Oh, man. But listen, if your kids, you cannot lose what is not yours if you get what I say.
So when it comes time to go, you won't be like the preacher looking around trying to find something where he's lost in the word. God got it all. He got us all in the room. There, we're here. Think about it. There's somebody I want to be able to keep up with something. I think it'd be God. He's lost. Revelation 20, verses 11 through 15 talks about the great white throne judgment. And this is the lost. But this, I believe, also is usually get the same things for us. There's people that have lost their lives that nobody knows find their body. Well, what we say, the older ones know what I'm talking about. Jimmy Hoffa. We don't know where he's at. He's under some building somewhere, or he's swimming with the fishes. Nobody knows. But there's one of them. There are the saints of God that have died over time. Their bodies have been scattered into the ocean, all over the hills, whatever. Think about these that have been cremated. They're saved, they're cremated, somebody's even took them, thrown them in the wind. That's what they want. Does that mean that they won't be able to reproduce because you and I can't? Because the Creator called every electron, neutron, put them all together and sinew and bones and muscle and the body will change the moment. God can keep up with every little piece of me. Don't you think He can look at that salvation? God, I will say this, God's not an Indian. When God saves you, you're His friend. When He loves you, He ain't going to die for you and let you die. If you got saved, you'll hear forever. That's the plan. Oh, gracious and your Father, thank you for His precious promises. God, I'm sure everybody can keep up with me. I sure thank you. Lord, I lose stuff all the time. Lord, I sure am glad you met Lord. Lord, I'm glad you don't deny me. God, you know who I am. When I call upon your name, you know exactly who I am. God, I sure love you, Lord, for everything that you love. I pray, God, that you go with us. I pray, God, your word find the confidence, Father, in our heart. Help us to go to another life. Sweet name. I don't know if anybody remembers it. I had a little fairy tell me that we were out. But we're going to have a meeting afterwards, a meeting at the cemetery. How many forgot about it? Anybody forget about it? Well, we'll meet back here and we'll go over what we can for a little bit. And we'll not do it. We did. Oh, Wednesday before last. Oh! Let's go in there.